Hi everyone, this is Laura at Keenan Recruitment. I'm so excited to be welcoming Orla, who is one of our public health nutritionists, along today to celebrate Celiac Awareness Week. Hi Orla, how's it going today?
Hi,
So Orla and I are both celiacs. I'm nearly 30 years in the game. Orla, when were you diagnosed?
10 years ago.
And how have you found things have changed in terms of awareness?
Awareness, maybe not so much, but the availability of gluten-free foods, yes. So that I've seen an improvement there. Maybe the awareness has still a bit of a way to go.
Yeah, perfect. So I've invited Orla along today. Orla and I used to work together at Bupa, and Orla has started her Instagram page, giving lots of helpful advice to not only newly diagnosed celiacs, but old-timers like myself. So I'm just going to pop up the Instagram page for everyone to have a wee look at, and we can have a wee chat. This is one of the posts I found really helpful, just to give an idea about what celiac disease really is. So, Orla, do you want to have a chat with us about this post and really what it means to you in terms of the celiac disease?
Yeah, so I think this is like one of the most important points to get across immediately with celiac disease. So often there's misconceptions around the people thinking celiac disease is a basic gluten intolerance or that it's a gluten or wheat allergy. It's neither of those. It's in fact an autoimmune disease. So it falls under that family of autoimmune diseases. So that means that your body's immune system physically attacks itself when gluten is ingested. So gluten's the trigger that makes the immune system go absolutely haywire. Whereas with a gluten intolerance or gluten allergy, you wouldn't see that type of autoimmune reaction. So that's the biggest misconception with celiac disease. The majority of people say to me, oh, so you're intolerant to gluten. It's a lot more serious and complicated than that.
Yeah. And Orla, I love this post that you put up just to give people an idea of how much or how little any kind of gluten can really affect people. So this is the one that really stood out to me. And I think everyone really needs to look at this for a visual. This is all it takes for someone to get glutenated and have very severe reactions. If you're somebody like me that does take very serious reactions. Orla, explain this one to us.
Yes, so even for someone with celiac disease, even a few crumbs can trigger quite a severe reaction. So that visual representation from Gluten-Free Watchdog I thought was really amazing to kind of show you that you've got the penny there beside it, just how much can trigger such a severe reaction. So that's about 1/100th of a slice of bread. So it kind of shows people how much cross-contamination can have an impact on celiacs.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I've had some disasters myself. I'm sure you are the same. And I suppose as an employer, it's really important to me that not only my employer, but also the candidates that I work with feel safe in the workplace. Or some of the symptoms that I would go through, all the embarrassing ones, your vomiting, your diarrhea, all of these. Really embarrassing for the workplace, and obviously keeping ourselves safe. And as you can see, just a few crumbs can really make that difference. What would your top tips for, keeping your workplace safe be?
So for me, really, the biggest thing, and I learned the hard way, was organization. So when I was first diagnosed, I would probably admit that I was a little bit naive, and I presumed that gluten-free foods were readily available in most places and that workplaces were safe. But actually, the availability of gluten-free food in the smaller shops, in the corner shops, and the newsagents just aren't there. So that would be the first thing. Be really super organized, plan out all your snacks, all your meals in advance, and just bring it in with you because it's safer. And the other thing I would say is work kitchens are gluten hotspots, okay? So there's shared toasters, there's worktops that aren't going to be cleaned, whereas you'd feel more comfortable in your own space at home. So what I would probably say is maybe avoid using the toasters or the worktops, try and bring in your own separate utensils, and just try and be as organized as possible. That would be the key, rather than having to last minute on the day think, oh, I have half an hour for my lunch, I need to go out and find something gluten-free, and then you won't find anything.
Yeah, you don't want to be hungry like I was the other day when I was in work. I wasn't prepared and ended up, nosing around the vending machine And I suppose that's another thing to be aware of, just keeping yourself healthy in general. Or have you got any advice on, how to kind of cooperate that, healthy lifestyle in with, keeping yourself safe and celiac?
Yeah, I mean, a healthy balanced diet is so important for everyone, but as a celiac, I suppose, because you have this autoimmune disease, which can be pro-inflammatory in nature, you really need to focus on getting a variety of vitamins and minerals because we are more at risk of deficiencies through the damage to the small intestine. So what I would say is loads of variety through fruit and vegetables, lots of fiber, and loads of hydration and fluid is so important for gut health. That plays a large role. So a whole rainbow of colors of the fruit and vegetables, really mix it up, get lots of plant variety in that diet, and really watch the amount of processed foods you eat as they're inflammatory in nature. So your processed meats, your ready meals, all those really nice tasty foods that aren't necessarily great for your gut.
Yeah, Orla, I love this post. It's got a great lot of tips along here. I do remember from our Bupa days telling us lots of beans and pulses added to everything. I was not great at following Orla's advice all the time, although she did lead by example. Orla, any top tips sort of for, coming back to the workplace now that we are kind of moving out of lockdown and back in, and how to explain celiac disease to your employer? What would you suggest there?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Communication's key. So it's really letting your employer or your line manager know that you have this autoimmune disease. And particularly if you have to do training days in work or you have to attend different conferences, they need to be aware of your very specific detailed dietary requirements, not only so you won't feel left out, but that you won't get sick in the workplace, which will then affect your job role. So I think, very sort of calmly and clearly sitting down, maybe during a one-to-one with your manager and just saying, listen, I have this disease, explaining how serious it is, that it's not just a gluten intolerance, and that, going forward, if I get sick, this can happen to me, and, it'd be great if you could support me alongside that. So communication really around that.
And any good resources that you would signpost people to speak to their managers with?
Yeah, I mean, Celiac UK obviously are an amazing charity, really, really supportive. I myself am a member of Celiac UK. I find their resources very easy and straightforward. They can also go on my Instagram page, Laura.
Yeah, we've got the link. We'll be sharing it today.
But yeah, Celiac UK. And funny enough, the NHS Choices website really lays out celiac disease very simply for people who are maybe new into knowing and understanding.
Oh, perfect. Thanks so much, Orla. This has been really fun, really informative, and hopefully raise awareness of celiac awareness. And you're also available to give anyone one-to-one advice. They can reach out to you through your Instagram page, isn't that right? Perfect. Orla, that's been so great. Thank you so much, and we will be in touch.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.